Tonight, the Labor Department is facing scrutiny over a social media campaign with illustrations that appear to be AI generated. Since Trump took office, the department's accounts have posted images mimicking the style of Norman Rockwell, or perhaps New Deal America. But even a surface-level review of these posts reveals something a little curious. Despite the fact that the American labor force is diverse, and as diverse as the nation, almost all of these images, for whatever reason, feature white men. They're blonde, they've got sharp jawlines, many of them have blue eyes. And the Labor Department argues that the pattern first reported in the Washington Post isn't in fact a pattern. Quote, "The Washington Post is manufacturing outrage that doesn't exist," a spokesperson says, twisting social media posts celebrating American workers and the American dream into a race story is absurd. I mean, I don't know. I think the Washington Post is right to point out that every single image that they've posted has been of a white man, and that doesn't really make sense because this is not a country of only white men.
The irony is
Period.
that
20% of the workforce is Latino. 13% of the workforce is black, and now thanks to this president, we're getting close to 400,000 black women who are out of work. So I think that these images are very parallel to the message that he intends to send to the people who continue to go out and blindly support him and his anti-DEI racist policies. So it's right on track.
Part of our strengths as a country is our diversity, our black, brown, women, men, workforce, all the way across the board. This is just kind of silly, right? If we're going to talk about apprenticeship programs and the good things the Department of Labor is doing, pushing apprenticeship programs, doing away with this idea that you need a college degree for every job. You're seeing Republicans and Democrats embracing that alike. That impacts all Americans, and it should be reflective in the advertising as well.
I think part of it is their desire to be who they think is the online audience for Trump supporters of the Labor Department, right? Young white men keep coming up in conversation.
It is a very online,
online,
step away from the AI type of situation.
But the irony is that they chose Norman Rockwell as the person's image, the style of art to copy. Is that Norman Rockwell? One of his most famous paintings was about Ruby Bridges as a young black girl walking to school for the first time, and he said the sin we all live with. He also, he did the Rosie the Riveter power image. He also did JFK's Peace Corps. So Norman Rockwell, his family
has a statement out. It says, if Norman Rockwell were alive today, he would be devastated to see that his own work has been marshaled for the cause of persecution toward immigrant communities and people of color. And they're also referring to DHS's use of Rockwell-inspired imagery. In addition to that, this is just a sampling of some of the other DHS images that have been posted lately. One of them, I guess, is Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I'm not really sure how that works. A lot of this stuff, this one on the far right of the USCIS hat guy, I mean, that's an internet meme. I mean, look, these are government agencies. And actually, when I look at the people who work at DHS, they are actually all races and genders and all kinds of stuff.
His labor secretary is Latino.
Yeah, but I'm talking about even the people who are carrying out the immigration agenda. They're black, they're Latino, they're Asian, they're women, and yet the imagery is showing something entirely different.
I don't celebrate diverse people carrying out a racist policy.
My only point is that
But I think they're taking those jobs, Abby, not because they have an ideological relationship to them, probably because they're desperate for money and work.
But it doesn't. My only point is that they are trying to gear recruitment at DHS toward white people, it seems, and that is not actually what it looks like when you actually look at
also, you were saying Norman Rockwell, it's also very similar. You can look at the pictures yourself, Google it at home, please. It's also very similar to Stalin in 1950s. A lot of this imagery is.
James.
Well, I couldn't disagree more. We're talking about memes, and we should be talking about the actual jobs.
I actually agree with you. That's exactly what we're saying.
Look, but Abby, but listen, let's just focus on something for a second. 70% of college grads right now are not working a full-time job in their field of study. Amazon just laid off 30,000 Americans and then went and hired 10,000 more H-1Bs, predominantly from the country of India. We have to get honest about our labor market policy, and what I want to see from President Trump is exactly what Governor DeSantis did in my state of Florida this past week. pull the plug on the H-1B program. Let's focus less on memes and all of this diversity woke nonsense on the internet. Let's actually give white men and black men all over this country, rural and urban, a real shot at this labor market. When you have a labor market that is rigged against Americans in favor of foreigners through H-1B OPT programs, that is far more important than internet memes on the DHS website.
And look, I mean, I think that you're right about the overt focus on internet memes. I think that's exactly what this conversation is about, is that this is an administration that seems to be really fixated on this type of stuff. And I am wondering, what is their plan to bring down the black unemployment rate, which has skyrocketed in the last year under Trump? The black female unemployment rate, the Hispanic unemployment rate. I mean, these are all Americans. So
Agreed.
what is the plan?
Stop importing jobs.
And what
Stop
about
importing jobs and the H-1B
But there are
scam.
400,000 manufacturing jobs available right now that we cannot fill. So this idea that somehow if he's importing jobs, that's what's driving unemployment, that's just not true. Then what's the problem right now? Why can't we fill these 400,000 manufacturing
The part of the
jobs?
economy that
We
is
could continue this conversation for a lot longer. You know I love a good economic conversation. But coming up, Chef Lisa has a nightcap for us. Don't go anywhere, everyone.